Hey everyone, today we are talking about a really important tool when it comes to prioritization of your career, whether we are prioritizing the day-to-day activities that you are giving your time and precious energy to, or whether it is really thinking about your long-term career goals, your mission, your vision, where you really want to go. This topic is the difference between important versus urgent. You've probably heard of this concept before. It was popularized by Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I encourage you to read the book because he's going to do it far more service than I will in this quick video. And yet I want to quickly cover this because I find it so effective in kind of crystallizing for us in a very repeatable way what we are focusing on. So urgent are those things that are very visible. They get our attention. They require a quick response, right? So an email coming in saying, I need this piece of information in the next 5 minutes before I go on stage or go in front of this client. Notice the word I use, react, right? We react to these things versus important things are the things that are aligned with our mission, our vision, our big priorities. And so we are ideally proactively planning for those things. And the challenge between differentiating between important versus urgent is when we have our overfull plate and our list of all the to-dos, often they all kind of feel the same, right? They all kind of feel equally urgent and equally important if we don't consciously take that step back and say, hang on a second, what if I could only do one thing, or if I could only do 3 of these things? What would really fall out of this? What would be the most important? First, do the work of building this habit of really identifying, is this something that is truly important or is it just urgent? Usually we're operating in that space of urgency, right? Because again, those things are visible. There might be someone else that's driving that urgency, and so we want to be responsive. Oftentimes urgent things, because they're not complex, can feel good to focus our time and attention on because it's much easier to send an email or respond with a number from a spreadsheet than sit down and do the hard work of thinking about what we want to do with our life. I use this tool a lot, and I went back to the book because I was helping a client kind of through some career planning. So Stephen Covey kind of goes through the 4 quadrants and kind of talks about, urgent, not important, whatever, all the combinations of those 2 things. And when he got to the important and urgent box, he said, this is the mistake that so many people make. Where are you making the important things unnecessarily urgent? What I see with the people that I work with is often, even once we've isolated, okay, these 2 things are the most important things, right? Either on my to-do list today or for my longer term planning. We attach an urgency to them, right? So what do I mean by this? I mean, people might come to me and say, Caroline, I want to change careers and I'm giving myself a month to do that, right? So it is kind of taking away from that critical blue sky thinking that, what are the opportunities, the real thought and time and space that we need if we truly want to give these important issues the attention that they deserve. And it is bringing in that energy that is reactive, that is fight or flight, that is high stakes, right? We are raising the stakes on these super important decisions. So I really encourage you, after you've done this one and done exercise of is it important versus urgent, great. Now I encourage you, look at all those things that you've identified as important and ask yourself, how can I carve out the time and space and attention that this activity or this question to be answered that this really needs? How can I do this justice? How can I treat this thing as the beautiful, precious jewel that figuring out my career is, or figuring out this big, knotty, woolly problem at work is, and decouple that high stakes, time-bound energy is putting on your beautiful, expansive thinking on this very important work. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your techniques for differentiating and organizing and prioritizing around important versus urgent. and I'd love to hear any questions you have. Make your comments below, and I'll talk to you soon.